Balance in this business is bullshit if you want to hit partner.
What are you looking for on someone's resume?
Winner. A lot of these people, they come out of college and they think that they should fall right into $100,000 or $200,000 a year job.
Momentum is that magic inside someone's business. What do you feel what kind of mindset destroys someone's potential the fastest?
Just don't be a victim of your own story. Look in the mirror and say, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Today, we've got a special guest, NASB's newest full partner. And folks, I couldn't be more excited because I probably could have kept talking to you for hours the other day. And goodness gracious, you have such an incredible story, well respected, but what a story you do have.
Okay. Ashley, thank you for having me. Guys, I'm hoping I'm hoping this can help you guys this morning. That's the biggest thing for me. When Ashley asked me to come on this, I asked her yesterday, my main question was, what can I do to help your guys? So I'm hoping you get something away from this. So I grew up in a little town, North Carolina, one stoplight back then, grew up in a trailer, didn't have much money. I believe that you either learn from your past and you grow, or either you are doomed to repeat it. So dad left when I was 8 years old, left mom with 3 kids who was the waitress, and we struggled and that's made me a better father today. I broke my femur bone and had to learn how to walk again playing football in 8th grade. So that built some resilience in me. I lost my best friend when I was 16 in a car accident and had to learn loss. And then I went and played college basketball for 2 years and actually got in a lot of trouble in my teenage years. And then I had to find a new path and ended up at ECU and got an undergraduate degree there and a master's degree at NC State, and wanted to be a physical therapist. So was in car sales for 7 years, worked my way up to the top, was a sales manager at the Toyota dealership here in Apex, making over $300,000 a year. But I came home one night and my wife hits me with, I feel like a single mom. And I didn't want my wife to be a single mom like my mom was. So that's what led me to getting in touch with Dusty and joining NASB 3 years and 4 months ago.
And I know, especially having the background with East Carolina University, graduating in 2005, you already knew a bunch of NASB partners. Talk to us about that first year being an agent. What was that like for you? I mean, going from making $100,000 a year in car sales, completely new arena, going into insurance. What was that first year like for you?
Well, I think once you learn sales, no matter if it's in car sales or roofing or solar or whatever it is, you can sell anything. So if you can sell a car, a house, or whatever, you can sell insurance. My first year, I came in my first 2 months and hit my first promotion, AG2, and then I had a terrible March and I actually thought about leaving the business. So I called Dusty. My only week I ever went in insurance without selling anything was like one of the first weeks of March. And I bought leads in a area in Raleigh, which was around NC State. And I bought all golds and silvers and all older leads. And if you know anything about that area, it's very transient. So I couldn't find anybody home. And I'm not a big neighbor knocker, to be honest with you. That's one of my downfalls. And I called Dusty the next week and said, hey, man, I don't know if this is for me. I need to get back in the car and have a friend's day and not a coach day. And he came to me and the first house we went to after that, we sold. And then it's been all uphill after that. But honestly, my first 6 months, I don't know if I really believed in this business. And I think we want it as bad for our new hires. We want it worse for them that they do for themselves because they really don't understand what they have their hands on at first. And I didn't. So my first 6 months, hit my first 2 promotions, sold at a high level, but I had sales experience. And then I actually got into Medicare and health insurance with Keith and did that during AEP that year, sold over like 50 or 60 Medicare policies just to my people that I've sold life insurance to and made some extra money that way. But that's when I started building this. It was at the end of my first year. So realistically, now I've been building about 2.5 years.
Let me ask you this. What separates now that we're going into the builder phase? Okay. So the past 2.5 years that you've been building, lots of fun adventures have gone on, some struggles, some trials. What separates producers from builders?
Number one is hunger. I think you have to be hungry at each level, but hunger at the builder's level is an obsession. It's becoming obsessed with this career. Okay. So my normal day, even at partner, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I work out. I do stuff before the business. I send my guys YouTube videos. I send them motivational things. I find something to try to get better in the morning for myself. After that, then we have our 8:30 call. All day long after that, I'm doing something to grow the business, whether it's interview calls or coaching calls or whatever else.
Let's talk about structure. You're 8 wide, and how many agents right now? Writing agents from last month.
75.
75 writing agents. You're at full partner, and 8 wide as far as 8 agencies direct to you. You've built your business a little bit different than how most partners have built it. You've built it on cold market, whereas what we've always heard is that cold market adds, warm market multiplies. How has that been for you in your experience over the past 2.5 years? What are some things that you've done to really tap into cold market recruiting?
Yeah. So if y'all don't remember anything else from this, remember this quote here. You can either pay for things in 2 ways in this business, either time or money. Okay. Warm market is going to take some time. You're going to have to go out to businesses and you're going to have to meet people. Money market, you're going to have to reach out to people on Facebook and do the social media game where they're, reaching out to you and you're reaching out to them. Cold market is something that takes money. So you're going to pay money for, whatever hiring platform you're on. You're going to pay money for if you want somebody to screen your calls so you don't have to do all that. You're going to pay money to hire people that way. So for me, I was even like this in sales. I would rather buy a $35 memorial lead or a $29 Facebook lead than I would a $5 silver lead. And the reason why is I'm paying to get my time back. And I believe that was important to my growth. I'd rather pay for something and get the most out of it than have to grind constantly and try to find the diamond in the rough or, the person that was missed by the first 2 NASB agents. That's my personal opinion on that.
Amen. What do you feel? Do you feel that if you're, again, there's so many avenues, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Indeed, you've got ZipRecruiter, many different outlets. So if you're solely focused on cold market recruiting, do you feel that you have potentially maybe a hard time when it comes to the characteristics of that individual? What are some ways that prevent you as the builder hiring, taking the risk of this person? You don't know their background. What are some things that you put in place to be able to prevent bad, low quality from coming into your business?
Yeah. So my first 10 agents, probably not 10, probably first 8 failed before I found my first leader in Justin Crump. Okay. So from probably September to December, we hired a lot and they all failed. And it's because I didn't have the culture or didn't understand what I was hiring for. Okay. So the big thing I would recommend to you guys is finding out what fits your culture. What fits my culture is not going to fit your culture. Although, some of the same characteristics are going to make people successful regardless. But I know exactly who we hire. And that's what I do at night times. A lot of times is I'll go on to my hiring platforms and I'll look for exactly who I want. And I'll tell my screening lady, hey, look, I don't even want you to call and talk to them. I just want you to book them on my calendar because nobody's going to hire for your business like you hire for your business.
Tell us what those traits are. Like you being a pro at this in cold market, what are you looking for on someone's resume? What are you looking for?
A winner. Somebody who's been successful. And that comes in a lot of different ways. Like Ashley, I know you've been trying to hire college athletes, which is great. I've had a lot of ex-athletes fail. And it's because a lot of these people, they come out of college and they think that they should fall right into $100,000 or $200,000 a year job. And they've never been through anything in their life. Mm-hmm. So their family has given them everything. And then they come into this and they get hit in the face and then they fail. So I would rather have someone with a little bit of work ethic on their resume and a little bit of heart and, proof of success than I would have somebody straight out of college who's entitled. So I don't know if it's exactly what's on the resume. It may be more a concept of success before coming into this. So like if I ran a car dealership, I had to go through all the different ranks to be there. If I ran a door-to-door sales, whatever, roofing or solar, I had to have some type of success before that. So I'd say some past history of success is the number one dictator if someone's going to be successful here.
Let me ask you this. Momentum. Momentum is that magic inside someone's business. Do you feel like you lost momentum? And when did you lose it? And what did you do to turn it around?
Let me say something real quick before we get on that. I think whatever system you choose, like Ashley chose her system, I chose my system, it has to be duplicatable. So it's something that you have to be able to duplicate over and over and over to get a positive result. So just like in the sales process, you know that you put in a certain amount of money a week in leads, you're going to get a certain amount of leads It's going to lead to a certain amount of conversations, a certain amount of presentations, which leads to a certain amount of sales. It can't be something that you start and turn on and then turn off, which leads into momentum. So fortunately, I have went through the building process of this pretty unscathed. So we haven't really lost momentum. Our growth, I mean, we grew 350% last year. This year, or this time last year, we were at like 640 issued. This year, we're like 2.4 million issued in the same time frame from January through March. So we haven't really lost momentum, but that's because we do the right things day in and day out. I see a lot of people in this business that they hit certain levels and they let off the gas and they think I've made it. If I deposit $1 a day every day for the next 30 years, I'm going to look back and I'm going to have a lot of money. In this business, if I deposit work ethic each day, if I deposit 10 recruiting calls a day, we're going to look back and you're going to have what you want long term. It's hard to see past that initial grind phase that you go through. But when you look back, it's something that's very rewarding.
You mentioned the other day, one of the hardest things for you was to give up control to your leaders. Walk us through that.
As people that are driven and people that want more, we think that we can do everything better than the person who's coming behind us. But a great leader is one that learns how to develop other leaders. So a great leader takes each one of you guys here that want to grow and they make you into clones of themselves or as close as possible. Now, you don't want these other people to lose what makes them great. I have people on my team that are better at sales than me. I have people that are on my team that are better with people than me. So I don't want them to lose those attributes that make them great personally. But the things that got you to where you want to go, you instill in your guys. So a lot of my guys are doing their own Zoom calls now with their recruits, which is great because that allows us to go from one call like we were doing the last year and a half to 3 calls. So it allows us to attract more talent.
What would you say proximity? You've got Dusty, you've got Plan Right, you've got Keith Thomason, Jordan Smith, Craig Harvey, Chad Milner. Why is proximity to these leaders so important for someone like you or someone that is building a new builder? Why is that so important, proximity?
Yeah. So I'll give you a story. So 6 months into the business, like I told you, I've already about quit once. Dusty invites me to go out to Dallas, Texas, go to an 8% conference with your friend Cody. We go out there. Jordan says, let's go out to dinner. Remember, guys, I grew up in a trailer. We're out in this steakhouse. He's ordering things like duck liver and octopus and Wagyu steak flights and all these things that I've never had before. And the bill comes in, it's well over $2,000. And I'm like, I didn't know you could spend that much money on dinner, And I think that being around and being in the proximity of people that have been successful and have done this at a high level, what that does is it builds belief in you. Okay. Now, belief won't get you to where you're at, but you got to have the work ethic behind it. But without the belief and the understanding that I can do this because these people aren't any sharper than me, then it's hard to get to where you want to go. That's probably what changed for me from the first 6 months to the last 2.5 years is honest and genuine belief in what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Belief that we were making a difference in people's lives when you get that first death claim and, you see that these people are crying to you because they're so happy they got their money, or belief that you're changing people's lives when you have that agent reach out to you and tell you they made $25,000 last month when they hit, SM1 or whatever else it may be. And when you start this, you have to borrow that belief from somebody else.
Absolutely. I want to go back to when you started building, because I think that this is an ongoing question on the hearts of new builders or existing builders, is this complementary aspect of building and selling at the same time. Did you feel that what was like a day in the life for you as you started to build? What was that like?
Okay. So balance in this business is bullshit if you want to hit partner. And you have to look in the mirror and really ask yourself what you truly want out of this opportunity. If you say you want to grow a business, but you go through a full week without having any conversations with anybody to grow it, do you really want to build your business? The answer is no. So you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm going to come hell or high water. I'm going to grow this thing for me and my family. And that's what I did. My wife didn't believe in this business for the first year and a half. And I kept telling her, hey, Dusty tells me 3 to 5 years to partner, 3 to 5 years to partner. Although it took Dusty 6 or 7, it's only going to take 3 to 5 years. And if I wasn't a man of my word and I came home every day and she said, how are you doing? Well, I'm still at AG1 or I'm still at AG3. And it's been a year or 2 years in. And I keep telling her one thing, but doing something else. Well, that's an issue. That's a character issue. So if you tell yourself and you tell your wife that you want something, or you tell your spouse or whoever it is that you want something, and you're not doing everything that it takes daily to get that, you need to look internally, because Ashley can't pull that out of you. I can't pull that out of you. Your leader can't pull that out of you. You have to have it in yourself.
What do you feel what kind of mindset destroys someone's potential the fastest?
Victim mentality. And this is in life in general. I believe that I am the victor of my story, but some people believe they are the victim of their story. So if you are complaining every day that my leads aren't home, but you're not knocking on that door that's sitting there beside it, are you doing everything you can to be successful? If you're complaining about not growing your agency, but you're not having the conversations,
right?
It's just a victim mentality that is prevalent a lot now. When I hear someone say, the area I have is very poor, and unfortunately, that's why I've been working the same job, and I'm 35 years old, and all this stuff, I don't hire them, because they're going to come in here and there's going to be excuse after excuse after excuse on why they couldn't do, what they said they were going to do. So just don't be a victim of your own story. Look in the mirror and say, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
When things do get hard and tough, what do you do to get you out of that maybe victim mindset that you could fall into? What do you do?
I preach emotional stability with my team constantly. They hear that once or twice a week. So emotional stability is never getting too high when you sell that $5,000 policy, and never getting too low when that door slammed in your face. I think your background builds up calluses to a certain point, to where that pain of some of the things that you go through in building your business, or the pain that you go through when out selling, it doesn't bother me. It's something that I realize that each person that tells me no in the field, or each person that doesn't fit what I'm looking for on a recruiting call, leads me one step closer to finding that next person that's going to help me grow my business. So emotional regulation in this business is I'd say a superpower. If you can never get too high or never get too low, that's something that'll carry you to partner.
So important. So important, whether male or female. You've got to be able to not be emotionless, but to regulate, to control those emotions. Woo, yeah, that's good stuff right there. In closing, what's something on your heart that you would want to say to a builder right now that has momentum, or the builder that is struggling for it?
It's not going to be easy, but it can be, if you're willing to sacrifice. Sacrifice was our word last year for our team. If you're willing to sacrifice, it'll be worth it. Nothing in life that is great is ever easy. So you're going to have to sacrifice some time right now. You're going to have to sacrifice some weekends to get what you want. So I would say find that thing that drives you. And when it does get hard, put it up here on your visor or whatever else, and look at it and remember why you're here. Remember why you left that job making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, for the potential to be where Ashley's at, or Dusty, or any of these other partners, and do whatever it takes to get there. And don't give excuses of why you're not there. Just do the things it takes to get there.
If you're willing to sacrifice it, it will be worth it. You don't want it to be easy, folks. It's going to be hard. That's what you remember. That's what, in my opinion, refines you. And I couldn't be more proud, Alstin, for you hitting partner, joining that elite group of partners. And I'm looking forward, because there's a lot more seats in partner, aren't there? Okay. And being at that table and being able to be amongst those guys and girls, and the wisdom that's at that table, because they all contribute something so unique. You want to be a part of that table, folks. You want to run to it. Aside from all the other great things that partner has, it will never, I'm telling you guys, to be able just to have the choices, the financial freedom. This is what we all signed up for, right? It's worth fighting for. Progress towards that. Okay, folks, follow Alstin on Instagram, Vanderford, and let him know, message him how much you appreciated his content today and the value that you were able to get out of it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you big time. And folks, let's make it a great day. Let's go.